The courtroom fell silent as the final document slid across the polished wooden table, the sound of paper against oak echoing louder than a gunshot in Isabella's chest. Her husband stood tall and composed, but his words moments earlier had shattered everything she believed about love, loyalty, and family. With one calculated signature, he had declared another woman as the legal mother of their twin children. And Isabella, trembling yet dignified, had no idea that the blood running through her veins carried the legacy of one of the wealthiest men on earth. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of truth rising above betrayal, take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that even in the darkest storms, light finds a way through. Isabella had always lived quietly, almost invisibly. She grew up in a modest foster home on the outskirts of the city, never knowing her biological parents. She worked hard, studied late into the night, and eventually built a small but stable life. When she met Daniel, he seemed like the answer to every prayer she never dared to speak. Charming, ambitious, attentive. He made her feel seen for the first time. Their whirlwind romance ended in a simple wedding ceremony filled with laughter and promises that felt unbreakable. The twins were born 2 years later, tiny miracles with Isabella's eyes and Daniel's smile. Those early years were filled with sleepless nights and soft lullabies. Isabella devoted herself completely to motherhood, sacrificing career opportunities to raise her children with warmth and stability she herself had never known. Daniel, meanwhile, climbed the corporate ladder. With every promotion, he grew more distant. Business trips became frequent. Phone calls turned shorter. The warmth in his eyes cooled into something calculating and unfamiliar. The truth revealed itself slowly, like cracks spreading across glass. A missed anniversary, lipstick on a collar, whispered conversations cut short when Isabella entered the room. She wanted to believe she was imagining it, that exhaustion had clouded her judgment. But the day she discovered the official documents hidden inside Daniel's briefcase, denial was no longer possible. He had filed paperwork naming his mistress Vanessa as the legal guardian and mother of the twins in case of marital dissolution. The cruelty was surgical. He had planned it meticulously. The confrontation led to the courtroom where Isabella now stood, holding a cream envelope she had not yet opened. Her hands trembled not from weakness, but from disbelief. The judge reviewed the filings, confusion flickering across her face. Vanessa sat behind Daniel, draped in red, wearing an expression of premature victory. Isabella felt stripped of dignity, of identity, of everything she had built with her own hands. What Daniel didn't know, what Isabella herself didn't know, was that her past was about to collide with her present in a way no one could have predicted. Weeks earlier, an elderly attorney had tracked her down after decades of searching. A DNA registry match had connected Isabella to a reclusive billionaire philanthropist who had spent years trying to find the daughter he never knew existed. Her mother, a young artist, had disappeared before revealing the pregnancy. The man, now gravely ill, had left everything, an empire worth trillions, to the only heir he had finally found. But Isabella had ignored the letters at first, assuming it was a mistake. She was no one special. She was just a mother fighting to keep her family intact. It wasn't until the attorney personally arrived at her door, presenting verified documents and undeniable proof, that reality began to shift. She learned that her father had built a global conglomerate spanning technology, energy, and humanitarian foundations, and she was the sole beneficiary. The envelope in her hand now contained confirmation of her legal inheritance. As Daniel argued that Isabella lacked the financial stability to raise the twins alone, the courtroom doors opened once more. The elderly attorney entered, requesting permission to present new evidence. Confusion rippled through the room. Isabella turned slowly as he approached her, offering a steadying nod. He handed the documents to the judge. Silence stretched endlessly as the judge read the inheritance declaration, the corporate seals, the financial statements that dwarfed Daniel's entire net worth by numbers he couldn't even comprehend. Murmurs filled the courtroom. Vanessa's confident posture faltered. Daniel's face drained of color as realization dawned. The woman he had dismissed as ordinary, the wife he tried to replace and discredit, was now the legal heir to one of the largest fortunes in modern history. But what broke Daniel was not the wealth. It was the composure. Isabella did not gloat. She did not smile in triumph. She simply stood straighter. Years of quiet endurance had shaped her into something far stronger than he ever noticed. The judge swiftly rejected Daniel's petition, citing both bad faith and clear evidence of manipulation. Full custody remained with Isabella. Outside the courthouse, cameras gathered like hungry birds sensing spectacle. Headlines would soon explode with the irony of it all. Yet Isabella's thoughts were not on money or revenge. They were on her twins, waiting at home, unaware of how close they had come to losing their mother in the eyes of the law. That evening, she sat beside their beds, watching them sleep. The inheritance could buy islands, skyscrapers, private jets, but it could never replace integrity. She decided then that her father's fortune would not define her. Instead, it would amplify her purpose. She would invest in foster homes like the one that raised her, ensuring no child ever felt invisible. She would build legal aid foundations for mothers fighting unjust custody battles. She would turn betrayal into a bridge for others. Daniel tried calling in the weeks that followed. Apologies came wrapped in regret and desperation. But Isabella had crossed a threshold that could not be undone. Wealth had not changed her. It had revealed her worth to a world that underestimated her. In the end, the greatest inheritance was not the trillions transferred into her name. It was the unshakable understanding that dignity cannot be signed away, and love cannot be replaced by convenience. Isabella rose not because she discovered she was a billionaire's daughter, but because she discovered her own strength. If this story touched your heart, if you believe that resilience and kindness always find a way to win, please take a moment to like, share, and comment below. And before we close, I have a special request. Comment the word strength if you believe no one should ever underestimate a mother's love. Your engagement helps stories like this reach more people who need hope. And remember, sometimes the greatest comeback isn't about wealth or revenge. It's about standing tall when the world expects you to fall.